and etc. Even though we've gotten a bloated parliament, I think all previous reports made failed to bring the nation's leadership together to rebuild a new Kenya. This is Njenga Kongo from Kihara. Thank you very much, Njenga. With me, I support the BBI report so long as it creates a conducive environment, especially after election. All right. No name, but thank you very much. Good morning, Mbuvi. I am against it. The reason why is that the door for consensus should still remain open. And I think this particular document has been politicized so much that it can never be amended past 2022. And by the way, I really doubt on the website. Let's hope that one will not automatically sign after logging in, or rather sing after logging in. This is Ahmed from county number 4, a 22 years guy with political ambitions. Thank you very much, Ahmed, and of course, wish you all the best as far as that is concerned. BBI is godly. It must be supported overwhelmingly. All the issues eating our country are all addressed. Number 1, political issues every election. Number 2, economic issues. Number 3, social issues. All are addressed in this document. We must support it fully. I support the document from Nyali. This is Kibet Mika Chumba. Thank you, Kibet. And last but not least, I am Mutinda Alphonse from Ruiru. For me, I have read the report and I like it, and I have given my online signature. The report is giving youth a chance to stabilize themselves in business under zero tax for 7 years. But the problem is governor's office term will be unlimited. All right. Sawa. Thank you very much, everyone, for your contribution. Keep on writing to us. We shall definitely sample them as we move on. But Gabriel, just to bring you back to the conversation, there's something you were saying in regards to, you know, the fact that the deputy president wasn't there yesterday, and of course Kinoti saying what he said, and then the president again telling Kinoti to keep off such matters.
And on that one, I agree with the president 110%. There are things which I honestly, Mbuvi, I think we should just leave them where they are.
Okay.
Because we have come too far to look back. And the reason why I think those are things we should really even dissuade ourselves from really looking back into them. I'm not saying we forget.
Yes.
All right? But we find a way to come out of it. As scarred as we are, we'll look back at that and we'll be giving our future generations an example that we would not want to repeat what happened in those days. And we continue ensuring that me and Oliver here continue talking, continue looking at ways to continue engaging this republic so that every time we have a dispute, we have mechanisms to solve that dispute. That is how we move forward as a nation, instead of opening old wounds. Anyway, having said that, I think there's a question which you asked, and I really didn't not finish it, where you were talking about the Prime Minister and what have you. That is an area that requires a lot of voter edification. Reason being, many people probably who are just looking at BBI from, you know, from what I call from the blind shades, they may not go deep into understanding how, you know, that the whole scenario will be. And that is why I'm saying there is a requirement for those who will be doing the popularization to go deeper into that document, because many people are looking at a very bloated wage bill. The minute you just mention wage bill, everybody cringes. So there needs to be a lot of edification for the voter, for them to understand what they are getting.
We'll get to the bloated wage bill and the 70+ MPs that, you know, are going to be there. But Karori, the DCI, as you were telling me off air, the DCI is under the police, and the police is an independent body. The president cannot tell them what to or what not to do. But yesterday, the president did tell Kinoti, keep off the PEV case. So what do you think going forward? Should Kinoti disregard what the president has said and still continue? Or should he take in the president's advice and say, okay, you know what, he's going to trash the evidence and just move forward?
Thank you, Mbuvi. You have to understand and realize that, first of all, Kinoti and the DCI is not an independent or autonomous office. Kinoti falls under the Inspector General, and that falls directly under the police. And therefore, the police in our constitutional setup currently is still independent from anybody, from the direction of any individual, even the president. And that is why the Inspector General is vetted by Parliament and appointed by the President. And the appointment of the IG by the President is that function of the President as the head of the state, as a symbol of national unity. He is the person who brings all of us together. We are under him because of that, to make sure that we are one nation. That is why he is given the mandate to appoint. Even the Chief Justice is given one name, and he appoints that person as a continuation of his function as a symbol of national unity.
All right.
Now, when we come back to the issue of Kinoti, the president yesterday was politically correct, but he was standing on legally sandy ground, because at the end of the day, the police must not act in direction by anybody. It might not be politically correct to revisit the PEV cases, but legally, the president cannot direct Kinoti.
Okay.
That is the point that has to be understood.
All right.
We might have celebrated because the president threw Kinoti under the bus, but at the end of the day, the law stands with Kinoti.
Okay.
And then we have to realize that there is the other thing. We cannot, as a country, look like we are supporting injustices. If there are people who suffered injustices in the
People
past,
who died, yes.
the law must be followed. Although, when we come back and realize that in terms of ranking, peace ranks higher than justice.
Okay.
That's why we say at the end of the day, a peaceful and harmonious nation, people must give and take some things. But when it comes to the strict compliance of the law, Kinoti should not be directed by anybody. Okay. But when we come back to the issues of BBI, there is something that, and I have seen an erroneous WhatsApp message from one of your viewers.
All right.
The term of the governor was not touched. What does that mean in amending constitutions? If something is not touched, it remains as is. As is, or the status quo currently that obtains, is that a governor serves for 2 terms. And that was not touched, which means we cannot reinvent the wheel. A governor will go home after the end of 2 terms.
Okay.
The other thing now that people must watch out is there is a whole doctrine called as the unity of content doctrine. What does this doctrine talks about? The doctrine talks about how do we amend the Constitution, and do we go for the section by section amendment or the omnibus amendment. This principle underpins the thinking that we should not throw away the baby, the water and the baby. So that if I have an issue with the issue of increasing members of parliament, I should be allowed to take no to that proposal and take yes to the proposal of a youth commission. So that is the next battle. And the other battle line that we are going to encounter, Mbuvi, is this.
Yes.
We do not have a repository bank of signatures of voters. You have to remember that we're still in a country where some people are still using their thumbprint as their signature and others are signing. So when we say we are going to verify signatures, where is the repository of all those signatures? That is the next question. And the other question is the question raised by the county assemblies of both Nandi and I think Kericho Bomet, where they're asking, they have asked fundamental legal issues in the advisory opinion they are seeking from the Supreme Court. First of all being, what amounts to the public participation that will be done in the county assembly level, because we will do public participation. People will bring views. And when you read the jurisprudence of public participation at the Court of Appeal level, it says that if views, if public participation is not a formality, the views of the people must be reflected in the final document. Where are we going to take this? And we have, the county assemblies have approached the Apex Court to give direction, because if those views are not factored in and the bill is discussed at the county assembly, and a voter in that jurisdiction goes to court, they can stop the process for a simple reason. They say, you called us for public participation. I talked about a certain thing. And it was not added in the document. Why were you calling us for public participation? And it must be known and noted, there is a difference between public participation and civic education. One is a subset of the other.
Civic education is...
civic education is part of public participation. But public participation is not civic education.
All right. Let's just hold on to that one. Millie, welcome back. Let's talk about the fact that this might actually give us a bloated government, a bloated wage bill, like Gabriel was saying earlier on, from 416 to 600 MPs, and all these other offices that, of course, will require perks and allowances and privileges and so on and so forth. Is this really a document that Kenyans should be saying kudos to?
For me, I think the bigger concern is the fact that we able to value of our case of particularly the legislative arm of government. I say this because currently we have very poor debates going on in the House, particularly in the National Assembly.
Yes.
And it has been admitted, even by the members who sit there, that they are unable to catch the eye of the Speaker, and they are unable to contribute. Most of the time, if you have opportunity to watch the proceedings, you find that they are asking to limit the time that can people contribute for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. How much can you really say of value in that time in order for us to have good laws?
Yes.
I think it is not surprising that even so recently, the court nullified a raft of laws that had been passed by the House.
Yes.
Because we are not getting value for it. And that may be my concern. As to whether it would be a heavy cost on the country, I'm not sure that that would be a big factor, because we had even economic experts calculate the cost of having additional legislators when the talk of the realization of the two-third gender rule was progressing. And it was really minimal as compared to the issues, the bigger issues we should be concerned with, like how much money we are losing through corruption. So I think that my concern would be the quality of legislation going forward.
Okay. Gabriel, you brought this up. In terms of quality, like she has said, quality of the services that we get. Because if we actually, have 600 MPs, this is an entire high school.
But you see, there's a way that will only arrive to that number if certain variables are not taken into consideration. First of all, the reason why you will find the likes of women, and Millie included, why BBI is so attractive to them, it is because it opens up now a lot of serious, and she's still smiling because
she's happy about it.
Yeah, there's the delicate balance of almost 50% in the Senate. So it's that really looks good, and I only pray that we get the quality of leaders that will make this society feel great that we even have those people representing us in the Senate.
Okay.
So there is that one deal. There's the issue of the youth who are also involved. There is the issue of PWDs. So if you look at it generally, it speaks good. It is very well crafted to now bring more, if you will, inclusivity within governance. However, that must also be realized, Mbuvi, by what you said.
Yes.
The quality of leadership. All right? And that's why I think it is very key for us, the voters, to now have a first hand, to have our hands right now get dirty when it comes to choosing and electing our officials. It's not going to be like the yesteryears where you would just close your eyes and you flip a coin and say, asera, asera. No. We need to go for quality leadership, and I know we can. In the past, we were not
quality
that
with
lucky.
600 individuals?
No, I say there are certain variables that may lead to that.
Okay.
And that's why I was saying we need a lot of civic education for us to understand how we can arrive there.
Okay.
Karori, I think
yes.
there is something we need to underscore, that Kenyans have often spoken about the issue of the wage bill of our leaders. And we need to be very careful so that we do not legislate our way into an economic crisis or into an economic depression.
Which already we are facing.
Because look at it this way, Mbuvi. If, and as Raila said yesterday, you cannot tell me you brought the best minds in the country and ended up with such a formula of having members of parliament. Two, look at our current members of parliament.
Yes.
You know those who serve as value for our money are not more than 18 or even 20, counting the Aden Duale, Kinambadis of this world. The rest are just there to earn salary and get mileage. What we need to do is to get quality debates. What happens now is we have a house whereby, as Duale was calling a member of parliament, this one from I don't know where, that is what we are going to see. Secondly,
Yes.
we have ended up having each clan or each family having a leader. Look at it this way. We do not know, or we are not sure how the members of assemblies will attain the 30% gender parity.
Right.
We have now transformed the National Assembly problem and exported it to everywhere. Look at the issue of Senate. Senate was 2 members shy of attaining gender parity. Did we have to add an extra 27 members to the Senate? I think what we are lacking is just innovative people. We have always carried the stale people of yesterday. They might have been bright in the 1980s. Are
Right.
they bright in the 21st century? I don't think so. Because just the fact that you are a professor, at times, and I've always said, even fools grow old. And when they grow old, they have a space in society. So we should not shy away. This is the moment to call a spade a spade. We cannot have 600 members of parliament. Which value are we getting? And my last point is this movie. Recently, you have been represented by 8 people.
Right.
Now we have added 2, you are represented by 10 people.
10.
Are you better off? No. Because at the end of the day, you have to go to Twitter and complain about your problems. And that is where you will meet your favorite member of parliament also complaining. So why don't we elect Twitter then? And to the MCAs,
Yes.
as a finality,
Yes.
this BBI has something for you which you might not see. You might celebrate the sweetener of being a CEC, but the underlying reasoning is that you need a degree. You cannot be a CEC without a degree. So even as you celebrate, know that the thing has now, the degrees are mandatory if you want to enjoy that.
And
so
you-
I think we need to have an honest discussion where people can see the sweeteners as just being the icing of poison.
And they might not get
And
elected.
you know, moving very quickly.
Yes.
You know, I told you there are certain variables which will come.
Uh-huh.
And those variables, I think, when I said it's for us now to really acquaint ourselves with the kind of leadership that we need to put in place, because the nominations is where we'll top up this number.
Yes.
So it is up to me and you to ensure that we look for quality women to fill in these positions. If we do that,
Okay.
by the way, I don't think those nominations will need to go that. So me and you have a responsibility. We have a role to play,
Right.
and a key role, by the way. So in this one, as much as the board is open, we need to really start looking into quality leadership and mainly gender-driven.
Okay, well, we have a few minutes before we come to a close in this discussion, and there's a question I need to discuss. Millie, there is this situation where the Deputy President yesterday tweeted and said there's still room for a conversation, national dialogue, and consensus. Do you believe, in your honest opinion, do you see that happening?
I don't see the framework that would allow for that to happen, because the bill has been now released. We hope that this is now the final version of it.
Right.
The signatures collection has now commenced, and people have begun appending their signatures to the document as is. So if you change, or if there's even a rumor of
Yes.
a change, I think there would be hue and cry across the country, particularly even by those leaders. And I'm sure that Honorable Musalia Mudavadi has been very vocal throughout this process, and he has appended his signature.
Yes.
He would be the first one to lead the vocalization of protest if there were changes subsequent to this. So I really don't see room for it. And that is my frustration
Yes.
with my leader, the Deputy President, that he's not giving us direction. He is
Okay.
adding to the confusion in a country where people are hurting due to COVID and many other things,
Right.
rather than allowing this process to conclude in a sensible manner so that we can move on with
Okay.
life. I really hope he can just give us clarity so that we can stop these suckers that we are having.
Gabriel, is there room for, as in, because he was very positive about it,
Yes.
optimistic.
Yes.
And was like, even if you sign, wewe enda tu sign, lakini tunaweza ongea baadaye.
By the way, Mbuvi, let me, and this is my own opinion.
Yes.
I think it should not end or start and end with BBI. We must constantly engage in conversation of proper governance, of accountability and of ensuring that there's peace. The prevalence of peace is so important in this country. And so this is not a place where we arrive and we say, tumefika. No, we must continue engaging on a daily basis so that our society can be better. All right. I told people BBI will come and go.
Yes.
All right. So will be me and you. And if you listen to the president yesterday when he said, I mean, our journey, our clock starts ticking the minute we are born. And we have a very limited time in this earth, but this country will continue going forward. So on a daily basis, when me and you, Mbuvi and Wakili here and Millie wake up, we must find solace in asking ourselves, how do we leave this country better than we found it? And we remember the words of the former president of the United States. Every day, when we have the blessing of walking in this world of ours, we must be reminded that we did not borrow this country. We did not inherit it from our forebearers. We inherited it, or we borrowed it from our children. With that mindset, the conversation must go on. And we should not treat this country as if we are talking about a document that will create magic. No, it won't. We may find that after 2022, we need to rework on our constitution. We need to amend the constitution again, because as society changes, and that's why our constitution must always remain dynamic. All right. So I don't want to say that we need to close out, and we shouldn't close out anyone, because the minute we do that, we are going to create factions. And let me tell you, there's nothing that really brings a country to the brink of civil strife than when you close people out.
Okay, Oliver, when the deputy president tweeted that, what did he mean? And Millie has rightly put it when she has said that he has probably thrown in confusion. Do you think that he meant we will talk after? Because manana BBI ni hivyo. I mean, it's a wrap. Once people have appended, now we go to a referendum. It's more or less a done deal. Did he mean probably we can have a conversation later after this whole process, or did he mean that we can still have a conversation within this process?
I think, and having seen the tweet, I think he meant that we can have a conversation within the process. But where I find difficult myself, and those of us who have taken a position on what BBI is, because Mbuvi from the word go, I've said BBI is a constitutional fraud, is the defilement of our democratic processes, and that is it, because I cannot pay my taxes to fund a constitutional change. Okay. That is not why I pay tax. I pay tax to fund the roads, infrastructure, development, payment of utilities. That is why I pay taxes. I do not pay taxes to fund whether women should be included or not. We cannot continuously be in the business of supporting bag carriers to conferences and all other things. We need to move after the nation. So, as to why we need a conversation, a country moves forward because it continuously engages with itself. That conversation is needed. People who are not talking can easily fight. That is where we need to begin from. Okay. But where we have reached, I don't see the door of a conversation or a consensus in this. And that is why I call out the likes of Musalia Mudavadi. It is hypocrisy for you to go and sign a document and come back and tell us we are looking for
consensus.
Not consensus. We are calling our legal experts to scrutinize the document. What are you saying? Will you withdraw your signature? The law has not provided such a framework. So that goes back to what we call political conmanship. Okay. You do one thing here and you do the other there. Okay. If Mudavadi is true to whatever he's saying,
yes,
and why sign something and then go read it?
Okay.
And that is why I'm saying, Mbuvi, what we need to ask as Kenyans, kindly provide us with BBI documents so that Kenyans can have a civic education, understand it on their own, and then make the conscious decision to sign. We are not amending an act of parliament. We are amending the constitution. Okay. To get another moment like this might take our lifetime. So what we need to caution Kenyans is read the document, understand. Don't be in a hurry to sign. This fallacy that we must have 4 million signatures within a week, that is legal heresy. There's no justification in law. Okay. And you must continue to poke holes in BBI as much as possible. We don't want to be in the same voters' remorse that Kenyans are continuously in. We vote for Mbuvi today. Tomorrow when we meet in the shopping center, you are the most unpopular leader. Why? Because we loved the money you gave us and not the vision you sold to us.
All right, thank you very much for those final remarks. Millie, any final remarks? 10 seconds, please.
Yes, certainly. The inclusion of women in governance is something that has been thought through, has been discussed, has been researched on. It is a vital. We can't continue swallowing Panadol, yet what we need is radiation or something different, something much more stronger than that. It has been discovered that if we are to move, we need inclusion of women. It's a key process. And that is why if BBI will solve that, that's a major plus.
All right. Thank you very much. Gabriel, final thoughts, please. Yes. 10 seconds as well.
Opens up when you talk about the inclusivity for women, that it actually goes all the way to the political parties. This time around, because you have to give your nomination list to IEBC, you know, and they really have to scrutinize it. So I hope Mbuvi, in all this, everybody will do their work, and everybody will be legit to their cause. And I think we should, we'll be able to see some serious change. But at the end of the day, we must keep talking.
Thank you very much, gentlemen and lady. Dial star 550 star 4 hash for your copy of the People Daily. And you don't need any data, just 10 bob and you get it straight to your phone. That is 550 star 4 hash. Thank you very much. Do not go too far. We'll be right back on the other side as we have that very much needed discussion on the day's trending stories with Faiza Hamed joining us today and Shikoka Aitani.